first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find, but I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
What's going on, YouTube? Nathan back with another video presentation. Welcome to the main episode, episode 19 of the podcast, season 3. If you did not see the intro earlier today, that was just me breaking down tonight's game with the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And so far, it looks like I got my guarantee right. The score is now
28-7.
28-7. Last time I checked, it was 21-7. So that looks like that score prediction. I said it was going to be close. I said it was like 28-17, but the way it's going, it's going to look like a blowout. In tonight's episode, I'm going to bring in Sean Spencer in a little bit. He's going to give Week 7's for Week 7 preview for college football, his picks, and his upset pick. And then also, too, I got Nick Rosario with me again. We're going to break down this week the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Washington Football Team, and Nick's going to break down the Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. And then we're going to also do Week 6 predictions, and we're going to talk a little bit what's going on in the NFL and some baseball talk. And I will close it off with some things that happened around the NBA, and then recap Game 2 of the WNBA Finals, which was actually a good game, by the way, last night, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not catch it. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to bring in Sean Spencer to talk college football week number 7.
Hi, Sean.
Yeah.
What's
Sean,
up, buddy?
What's up, buddy? What's going on, gentlemen? Live from my car.
There it is.
So much going on, baby. Let's go.
Right. Let's go.
Let's go. Hey, look, unless you've been living under a rock, you already know, okay? The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Down goes Frazier. Okay, Alabama, the mighty Goliath, who everybody thought was invincible, falls the first time to Texas A&M, 41-38. Ladies and gentlemen, what a game this was. I didn't see it. I didn't see it coming. But I do want to say this. And I'm not going to sit here and make it look like, oh, Sean, you predicted. No, I didn't predict it. But when I saw the game against Florida, where it was 30, where they beat them only by their 2-point conversion, 31-29, I sat there and said to myself, that's interesting. I thought, okay, maybe that's an SEC thing, but that to me kind of shocked me. Texas A&M, though, this is why I said you couldn't have predicted it. They came in here with a backup. Zach Calzada, I mean, come on now. This guy played the game of his life, sat here and was dominating, threw a touchdown late to tie it up. And I don't know if you saw it, but they rolled up on his knee. The guy hobbles off. The coach comes out, and Jimbo Fisher's, like, are you all right?
You okay?
Jimbo Fisher goes, let me tell you how much Jimbo Fisher was into this guy. He went into the medical tent with him, okay? Right. Went in there with him to see that, hey, Texas A&M defense showed up. They stopped him on a 3-and-out. Calzada comes back, and hey, the rest is history. The rest is absolutely history. So Alabama falls. They are no longer number 1, but obviously they didn't fall that far. We'll talk about that in just a second. I have to talk about where I was wrong. Nathan, I don't think we can rep Maryland anymore. And I got to shout out my guy Nick, because when Maryland was 3-0, I put it in the Let's Talk college football group. And I was like, Maryland, they're undefeated. They're shocking. And Nick's like, yo, who have they played? They haven't played anybody. And, hey, you're absolutely right. The last 2 weeks, a stout Iowa team, a stout Ohio State team. Ohio State put 66 up on our Terrapins. But, Nate, you touched on it a week ago. Demas. When Demas got hurt last week,
that was it.
It popped the bubble. Whatever momentum they had coming into the game against Iowa and then this game, the bubble was popped. When you get 66 put up on you, that's not the team that went undefeated before.
Really quick, Sean, hold that thought.
Yeah.
I'm not going to even sit here and act like I didn't know this was coming. Or act like I know this was coming because I did it.
No.
Relationship with your children.
My God.
And the R. Kelly on top of it. Take
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
not the
Man,
R.
real
Kelly.
quick, I know Nick Saban after the game when they lost, this is how he was really feeling.
Congratulations! Oh my God!
You already know. You already know he was not having it. He was not having it. But look, like I said, I hate to say it was a shocker to me because I tried to call out and say Maryland was going to do it. I think that was my definite guarantee, and we saw what happened with that one. So, hey, hopefully Maryland will bounce back. But I talked about it a week ago. They're coming into their Big Ten schedule. This is the toughest part of the schedule. And as you'll see later when we talk about the top 5 and eventually the top 10, the Big Ten has 5 teams in the top 10 this year. You know what I mean? In the Big Ten. Yeah, in the top 10 as the Big Ten. So, got to shout them out. Moving on, I talked about this. This was my upset pick, and I came the last play of the game away from it. The Red River rivalry with Oklahoma and Texas. I said Texas was going to get the W. They knocked them in the mouth early, jumped up 28-7. But then Spencer Rattler, they took him out, put in that boy Casey Thompson. My man had 5 TDs, dominated, came out the woodworks. Still came down. Right? Huh?
Because of that game, NFL prospect.
Hey, they'll call it. Well, his dad was a legend. Thompson had played for OU. Yeah, so his dad was a legend. So this maybe should not have been a surprise. But anytime you have the starter get benched and the backup come in, a la Tua Tagovailoa in the national championship, you're like, well, who is this guy? What? But yeah, this guy, he showed up. It was an amazing game. Shout out to my guy Nate. He asked me a week ago, what do I think the point total was going to be? I said like 52, and they had 58 by the half. So Nick was like, yeah, it's going to be in like the 70s. So shout out to
everybody. Like I was shocked. Like they scored the finals. I can't remember what the final score was, but I think they had like 100 and something points combined.
Yeah, it was 55-48.
Yeah, it was a 10, whatever that came out to. Yeah, 107.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy, but that might be game of this. That might get an ESPY. It might, but I will tell you, like I said a week ago, my game of the week a week ago did not disappoint. Number 13 Arkansas loses at the very end on a failed 2-point conversion to number 17 Ole Miss. 52-51. Ladies and gentlemen, I said this was going to be the game of the week. Both these teams were coming off victories against top 5 teams, and they were hungry. That guy Corral, the quarterback for Corral, is in the Heisman race for Ole Miss. Dominated 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. This is SEC football. Normally SEC is known for defense. This actually looked more like a Big 12 game, but with the way that both of these teams played, they were hungry, and it was just back and forth. I mean, it was just boom, boom, boom. It was a pinball, and it, again, came down to the last play of the game. Ole Miss, Arkansas went for 2, didn't get it, and couldn't get the W. But that's how it happens. Another game I shouted out, going to the ACC, got UVA, Syracuse, and Louisville. Told you that. Armstrong versus Malik Cunningham went down to the wire. UVA pulled it out 34-33, and it did not disappoint. I absolutely love what they have going on, but let's be honest, everybody in the ACC right now, and I want you to hear me, they're not chasing Clemson because Clemson's not ranked. They are chasing undefeated Wake Forest, who I spotlighted next. They beat Syracuse in overtime, 40-37. Maybe they can't beat the Alabamas and the big name team, but we don't know about that now. But one thing I will say about Wake is they find a way to win. They're getting the job done, followed by their quarterback, Sam Hartman. They're getting the job done. If you can continue to pile up those victories, continue to do it, you got to believe in them. Eventually, you got to get to a point where you believe in them. They got a good offense. They have a good defense. So, hey, let's see what Wake has coming in the near future. And my last game that I talked about last week is the Penn State-Iowa game. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you saw this game. Penn State went up 17-3 early, and they looked dominant. They looked really good. Yeah, what you got?
I'm not going to even sit here and act like I didn't know this was coming. Or act like I know this was coming because I did it.
Yeah. They got up early, but Iowa just, I believed in them. I believed in Iowa, but I definitely thought Penn State was going to get the W. But Iowa showed up. Iowa came back. They were resilient.
Marcus was good.
What up, Marcus? They were resilient. They came to play. But again, as we'll see, when we're about to talk about the top 5 and eventually top 10, Penn State didn't fall that far. You know what I mean? They came in. Yeah, they came in 4th. Iowa came in 3rd. So to have that is kind of similar to the Alabama. Alabama only fell 4 spots. So we'll go into the top 5 right now. Number 1, obviously by default, they were number 2 a week ago.
Georgia
Bulldogs. Shout out to Anthony Handy. I know he's super excited about that. They have an undefeated Kentucky team this week.
That'd be interesting. That'd be a good one. It's a test.
That's going to be a real good one. Number 2, aforementioned Iowa. They're playing good football, but again, we talked about them playing in that Big Ten schedule, and these games are going to start becoming real boxing matches in the Big Ten. So definitely watch out for that. Number 3, I shouted them out a week ago. I tried to shout them out on Let's Talk SEC with Anthony Handy. He kind of jumped all over me about it, but I'm still believing in this team. Cincinnati, ladies and gentlemen, I understand they're not in one of these huge Pac-10 or Pac-12 Power 5. Right. I understand that, but I'm telling you, they've got a team that's seasoned. They've got veterans that have started again. Desmond Ridder is in the Heisman race. He's a three-year starter. Watch out for these guys. Watch out for them. And if you think they haven't played anybody major, a year ago they went all the way to a New Year's Six bowl, played Georgia. Lost to them by 3 points, 24-21. All right, so they can hang with the big boys. Give them an opportunity. I think they might do it at number 3. Oklahoma, after winning the Red River rivalry, goes up to number 4. But the big question we're all asking, who's your starter? Are you going to put in Spencer Rattler after you yanked him out the game, or are you going to put in the backup? So it's going to be interesting. Yo, Marcus, we talked about it, man. I picked Maryland to win, but we got stomped. It hurts. It hurts my heart. It hurts. And rounding out the top 5, the team that I know Nick is disgusted about, Alabama only goes down to 5th. Only goes down to 5th. Which, I mean, again, how far did we really expect them to drop? Because all the pollsters and pickers still love Alabama and Nick Saban.
I know.
So they only dropped to 5th. But I want to say real quick, the other the top 10, you have 6 Ohio State, 7 Penn State, 8 is Michigan, and 10 is Michigan State. You have 5 teams in the Big Ten that round out the top 10 in college football, ladies and gentlemen. And with the exception of Penn State, the other ones are undefeated. Michigan State, and except for the Penn State and Ohio State. Iowa, Michigan, and Michigan State all undefeated, and Penn State 1 loss, Ohio State 1 loss. You know what I mean? The Big Ten has got it going, and I think they're head and shoulders right now above most other divisions. I don't know if I can say that about the SEC just yet, but right now they have a full complement of guys. Again, they've gotten done with the no disrespect, Nick, but the Northern Illinois and the Central Michigans and those schools. Now they're going to start to play Big Ten matchups. Michigan's, Iowa's, Ohio State's, and now we're going to start to see a couple. That zero is going to be turning into a couple 1 losses, potentially 2 losses.
See, but my thing with the Big Ten always is, and this is what happens every year, we have 3 or 4 teams that are always up there somewhere, and the only team that ever seems to win is Ohio State when we get to bowl games. Like the Big Ten always gets talked about, like we'll have great regular seasons and everybody will have a good season. We'll all get these big bowl games, and then Ohio State will be the only one who wins, or you know what I mean? Like we have 5 teams in the top 10. I expect that at least 4 of those teams will be in major bowls at the end of the year. Yeah. If not, if Iowa can sustain, we could even have them playing for a college championship. I think out of all the teams in the Big Ten, Iowa is the strongest, the most veterans. the coach, Kirk Ferentz. You got to love the coach. I think Iowa has the best chance out of all those to make the biggest showing for the Big Ten this year. So we'll see how that. Just my 2 cents for being a Big Ten guy. But yeah, I think Iowa has the best chance, and let's hope they can pull something off.
My only question with them is quarterback. I love their running back. Their defense is out of this world. Yeah. But with their system, it's kind of similar to a Wisconsin who's actually fallen off this year.
Yeah,
their system is run the ball, good defense, special teams. You know what I mean? 3 phases, so you don't really need that huge 5-star big-name quarterback. But I agree with you. Iowa right now just seems like they are stout. They are together, all facets. I do want to mention, and maybe I'm a homer because my fiance, who has relegated me to the car, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to mention her and her Michigan State Spartans are undefeated right now. They're playing Indiana this coming week. They look good. They look absolutely legit. The running back they have, Kenneth Walker III, is amazing. Put up over 200 yards in the past weekend. I think he is definitely going to start moving up in that Heisman race. I definitely think that's something that he's going to do because he's been consistent week in and week out, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely. Now, look, let's go into what we got coming up. All right. Aforementioned, I said Michigan State, they got Indiana. I do think that they should get the W, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. This is the game that everybody wants to watch next is the Georgia versus Kentucky.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out to Anthony Handy. Anthony said that when he looked at the percentage of who they think's going to win, Georgia is at 95% chance that they think they're going to beat Kentucky. What does that say about Kentucky?
Well, you know what it says to me? It says watch out, because wasn't that same stat about Kentucky had never beaten Florida and how many whatever? And what did they go in there and do this year? They beat Florida. So as much as Georgia is a powerhouse, Kentucky's firing on all cylinders. I've caught a couple glimpses of Kentucky's team, and I'll tell you what, I'm not predicting, and I don't want no guarantees or anything, but I'm telling you, Kentucky keeps that game close. Watch out, brother.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely, because I am not as confident and as Anthony is in their quarterback, Stetson Bennett. JT Daniels is still hurt, so I think we all know that defense is an NFL defense. We already know that, but that offense at quarterback is questionable for me. So I do want to see how that plays out. Kentucky's got a good running game. A couple other games I want to mention. The number 25 ranked Texas team. We saw they fell to 25th. They are playing an undefeated Oklahoma State team. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game because Texas, right. There's not much defense in the Big 12. Oklahoma State has really been under the radar at undefeated. They're ranked 12. Texas
Cowboys.
Coming off that amazing game a week ago. These games are always pretty high-scoring. I think the Cowboys will get this W. Oklahoma State will get this W. I did not say Dallas. Okay.
Right. Not those Cowboys.
Right. Not those Cowboys. But I think it's going to be definitely a good game. My game of the week, my upset pick. I'm giving you my upset pick right now. Baylor at 5-1 is going up against number 19 BYU at 5-1. Baylor will get the upset this week.
There we go.
Mark my words. Let's get it. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the aforementioned game that I talked about, the Oklahoma State, Texas, I think that's going to be the game of the week. I think that's going to be, like I said, super high scoring, kind of like the Ole Miss and the Arkansas game from a week ago. I think they're just going to be trading punches back and forth, and it's going to come late in the game. A couple names I just want you to look out for. Quarterback of Alabama, obviously, stud Bryce Young. Desmond Ridder, quarterback for Cincinnati.
Yeah.
3-year starter, solid quarterback, really has a hold of that offense. Talked about Kenneth Walker of Michigan State running all over the place. Travion Henderson, the running back at Ohio State. Under the radar, but he has been dominating. He has been really maybe he's not under the radar to the people in the Big Ten, but around the country, I don't think he's getting as much attention as he deserves. And Jameson Williams from Alabama, the wide receiver, he totally went off in the game a week ago. Even in their loss, he had like 10 catches, 2 touchdowns.
What's with those Alabama receivers, huh?
Well, right.
They never go anywhere, do they? No, I'm kidding.
they're building a factory. They got a factory over there.
They got a factory over there.
So they're doing it. Honestly, they're doing it. And he, I think, is going to be the next one. The next Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley, etc. So, I got to shout them out. And hey, Nate, that's what I got for you today, buddy.
I like it.
Yes, sir.
I like it. That's what I like. That's what I like, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Sean Spencer, man. He's doing this thing with the college football picks. He's keeping his eye on these teams, man. That's a lot of teams, Sean. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it.
I'm the guy. Look, I'm the guy that has the TV on, the laptop. I have this phone. I have this one set up, and then I have my other little side phone. I have that set up. I can be watching 3 to 4 games at a time. I DVR them all. I watch them all again. I mean, look, this is what we love covering this, but all I want to do is just be there. I just want to be at every single game. That's my passion. That's my heart. So that's where we're at, man. Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for coming. And listen, you're welcome anytime to do the rest of the college football season. Just let me know. I got you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shout out to Sean Spencer.
Hey, one more thing. Washington, real upset. Kansas City, mark it down. Guarantee it. Let's go.
Guarantee.
Hey, does anybody else find it funny that in that clip that Charles Barkley slightly resembles RuPaul when he's out of drag? I'm just saying. Just an observation.
That's terrible. Come on.
It's terrible. Oh, it's just horrible. Ernie, get him. That's terrible.
Let's go.
Again, just a slight observation. I ain't trying to, I'm just saying.
Slightly resembles I'm going to leave.
RuPaul, right?
Look, my asthma was about to flare up because the smoke is in the building. I'm about to roll out here. I appreciate you, man.
Everything. Appreciate you, Sean. Appreciate you,
Later,
George.
Sean. Later, my guy.
Later. Appreciate you.
There he is. Oh, man.
Shout out to Sean Spence, ladies and gentlemen. That was good. Gotta love it. Definitely gotta love it. We're going to transition into the NFL. We're going to preview real quick the Baltimore Ravens versus Los Angeles Chargers after a awesome comeback by the Baltimore Ravens in the win of overtime against the Indianapolis Colts.
I'm not going to even sit here and act like I didn't know this was coming. Or act like I know this was coming because I did it.
Rest in peace, Sean Taylor Watts still wrong for that. Yes, I agree, Sean. We're going to get into that a little bit. So kind of a little looking.
Well, I know how you feel about this game, Nate. I know.
The defensive end.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
On the defensive side of the ball, we have struggled to get off the field, and San Diego and Los Angeles is a high-powered offense. On my notes here, they're averaging 28 points a game. Mm-hmm. They're tied 6th in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Jared Cook, they have just been destroying guys. Our secondary, even though there's been injuries, we're allowing almost 300 yards per game. We're tied for 28th. Actually, it's 296 to be exact.
Okay.
We've been pretty decent against the run, but we're 7th according to the stats here. We rank 93 yards per game. So we just got to we got to keep San Diego off the field as much as possible. Offensively, Lamar Jackson has killed another narrative that he can't throw the ball.
Sure, yeah. Well, we know he can, but yes. Let me say, if I may say something here while you're collecting your thoughts, I see. So I find this game to be very interesting this week because the Chargers just had a shootout with Cleveland this past week, right? And I feel like this is the setup for another one because as we've seen now, Lamar Jackson will will his team to victory if he has to. I mean, he literally took over that game in the second half and willed his team to a victory. And I think that's the Lamar Jackson that, is the MVP candidate, the guy who really puts the team on his back. Because we all have talked about this and we all have said, this poor guy is out there giving his heart and playing, he doesn't have the best talent around him. there's been like total of like 18, 19 injuries on this whole Ravens team for this year. He's playing with, again, these are not scrubs, but I mean, when your number one receiver is Hollywood Brown and your other guy's Sammy Watkins, it's not exactly, the greatest talent you have on the field there. And he's making it work, man. He's got Mark Andrews at tight end, who obviously is a big target for him. The running game hasn't really gotten going. I mean, they've done okay with Murray and Williams, I guess, but the fact is, it's Lamar, and Lamar makes the team go. And again, as much as we have talked about, it sucks when your quarterback's your leading rusher, but right now that's the way it is. Until these guys, you get somebody else, or these guys come back from injury or whatever happens, it's the Lamar Jackson show.
Facts.
And so, here he comes again, going against another high-powered offense. I don't know that Indianapolis was a high power, but I mean, another, they were down how many points in that last game, and he had to will them back to a victory. I would hate for the Baltimore defense to give up a lot of points early, and you see Lamar having to do the same thing where he's playing comeback and he's throwing the ball 40 times. His last game we covered, he was, 37 out of 43. And that's phenomenal. But at the same time, the guy he had to throw. They were behind the whole time. So I for this game, I'm going to be honest. I did take the Chargers because if you watched Let's Talk Football, the roundtable, in Nick's picks, the Chargers are getting 3 points. Baltimore's actually favored in this game. They're -3. So I actually took the Chargers +3 coming off that big win in Cleveland. So we'll see how this game goes. But I expect a shootout. I do. Because neither defense is really killing it. They're doing all right. Chargers with Bosa and a couple other guys, but they're not, they just gave up 42 points to the Browns. So, Lamar may be able to get to them is all I'm saying. So I expect kind of a shootout type game again. And, again, it'll be close. I do think, but we'll see. I'm looking for a good game. I did take the Chargers, but would I be disappointed if Baltimore won? Absolutely not. So.
Nice name drop, Nick.
Thank you. I tried. Laugh out loud. Yeah.
Anthony, what's good, bro? What's going on? Good to see you.
There you go.
I'm with Nick. Again, Lamar threw for 442 yards, 4 touchdowns the last game, completed 86% of his passes.
Yep.
He's the first NFL player in history to pass for 400 yards and complete at least 85% of his passes.
Right.
The Colts stacked box, and Lamar still beat them passing the ball.
Exactly.
Coming into this week, we have the number 1 ranked offense. So, defensively for Los Angeles, they have the worst run defense. They're allowing 157 yards per game.
Okay, see, there you go.
So, the last 2 weeks, we have definitely struggled to run the balls, particularly against Denver, and then obviously Monday against Indianapolis.
Yeah.
We're going to have
to try again against that Chargers defense.
We're going to have to try. Definitely have to try. But again, also, too, the others around Lamar Jackson have got to step up. I can't emphasize that enough.
Oh, for sure.
Hollywood Brown and them.
You got to help your quarterback out. I know that, a couple of throws maybe got away from Lamar, but if he throws in your vicinity, man, you got to come down with it.
Right.
You got to catch it. You got to help him out. You got to be, keep running your route, try to get open, try to get off your guy, do whatever you got to do. But you got to help Lamar Jackson because that guy's running for his life out there and he's making it happen. So, yeah, for sure.
Excuse me. He's definitely making it happen. So, I think it's going to be a good game for sure. Absolutely. I agree, Ant. I'm going to go along the lines. Baltimore is going to win.
All right.
I'm going to say 34-27.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
Thank you, Charles Barkley.
You have a score, Sean? Nick?
34-27, you say, huh, my friend?
Yes.
I can dig it, but I'm going to go, I think given the offense that the Chargers have, we may see a little bit more. I'm going to go maybe, I don't want to say maybe 40 points, maybe 35. I'll say a 35-30 victory for the Chargers.
You're guaranteeing that?
Well, you want to? I don't know if I guarantee. Yeah, why not? 35-30. Let's go.
You're going with the Chargers.
I'm going with the Chargers.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick is going to say the San Diego Chargers are going to beat the Baltimore Ravens, and he's guaranteeing that.
Guaranteed.
Thank you, RuPaul. I mean Charles Barkley. I'm sorry.
All right, we're going to transition.
I'm terrible, I know. That's okay.
We're going to transition into the Washington football team versus the Kansas City Chiefs. In this game, they're supposed to retire Sean Taylor's jersey, which I think is kind of out of the blue and it's kind of unexpected. I think we should have given the people more time to be prepared for this, particularly what's been going on the last few, well, I'd say a couple of days with these emails that have been now came out. I think this is just from the top. I think this is trying to say, look, we're going to retire this guy's jersey and kind of trying to clean, trying to clean image. But, at the end of the day, people are not slick. I agree. This is not good. This is all clearly that's clearly a Dan Snyder thing. So, I was listening to I think it was in one of the interviews. Jonathan Allen came out and said this defense has been absolutely horrible. The Chiefs defensively have not been much better neither. They're actually they allowed defensively more points than Washington this season. We're both 2-3. The only thing with both teams, they turned the ball over. Kansas City has allowed 30 plus points in all their games this season.
Relationship with your
My God. I'm not going to even sit here and act like I didn't know this was coming. Or act like I know this was coming because I did it.
Their defense is ranked 31st. I agree. And then Washington haven't been much better. The last 3 weeks, giving up 33 points, 30 points, 43 points, and now going against Patrick Mahomes. Got to see how we look defensive against him. Taylor Heineke threw 2 interceptions against New Orleans.
That's it.
I still think he is the starter for this team. I still believe that. Just give him time. Each week you see development in him. I was a fan of Heineke. He came in, he asked to do a certain job, so I'm not mad at it. But man, I think it's going to come down to who doesn't. RuPaul. Washington wins, I guarantee.
Sean is back. Sean came back. Well, here's the thing. Let me say this, if I may, Mr. Nate.
Sure.
Like you said, you have 2-2-3 teams, both whose defenses should be playing better but aren't.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Somebody was trying to talk. No, but it just comes down to offense. Then again, this could be one of those games where if Taylor Heineke is on and hasn't turned the ball over, I'm not saying he's going to go toe for toe with Patrick Mahomes, but this could be one of those games that gets a little bit out of control, and you're seeing another where Kansas City gives up another at least 28 points to a Washington offense that has some weapons on it, that can run the ball, has run the ball at times. And again, if the Chiefs are playing that lousy of a defense, man, I got to think that Heineke can exploit that in his short passing game, the running game, I feel like this is almost a trap game for Kansas City because, again, everybody expects them to win, right? They're playing Washington. You're like, Washington's not going to do anything. But I tell you something, and I'm not going to go as far as Sean because I know Sean believes in his Washington football team, and that's great. I do think Kansas City wins this game, but I think there's a great possibility, which is why I stayed away from this game when I was making my picks, because I just think that this is one of those trap games where that if Washington keeps it close and you're just battling it out at the end, man, anything happens in those type games. And I just feel like, Kansas City, for whatever reason, it's just not clicking on all cylinders so far this year. And again, Washington is trying to find who it is after losing Fitzpatrick in week 1. So you have a battle of, like I said, a team on the decline and a team that's trying to figure itself out, which again, Sometimes those teams collide, and that's what happens. So again, I'm picking Kansas City to win the game, but man, if Heineke could find a way to not turn the ball over and get the ball to those weapons, McLaurin, Gibson out of the backfield, whoever, or McKissick, whoever's out, man, you gotta. I know. Again, I'm going to take Kansas City to win, but this could be a good game for Washington if they play a complete game.
I agree.
I'll put it that way.
I agree. I think what comes down to me, like you said, who doesn't turn the ball over the most, and someone's got to click on cylinders early and get going, because it's going to be a long game for either team. But I'm with Sean. I'm going to say the Washington football team wins.
Ooh.
I'm confident.
Okay.
I think
I like it.
I'm just seeing the way Kansas City has played the last few weeks. It's been telling. It's really interesting. So Nick, you said that the Chiefs are going to win.
I'll take the Chiefs.
So Nick guarantees that. We're going to guarantee Nick's saying that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win. Guarantee. And then we're going to guarantee, myself and Mr. Sean Spencer. Nick, you heard me. I guaranteed it. The Washington football team, ladies and gentlemen, are going to win this game.
I heard you, brother.
Final score 35-27. Guaranteed. So next, we're going to transition into the Bears and Packers preview. Nick, you have the floor. Let us know what we should look for in this game, and who do you think is going to win. Real quick, I just do want to point out Mason Crosby had 27 had a franchise record of 27 consecutive successful field goal attempts, ladies and gentlemen, and ended in the game with Cincinnati where we're in the overtime, and he missed 3 field goals.
I'm not going to even sit here and act like I didn't know this was coming, or act like I know this was coming, because I did it.
So, let us know what's going to happen this weekend. This is the divisional rival for you, so let us know what's going on.
Well, to me, this game is going to come down to one thing. One big thing, and that's the Bears' defense being able to stop Aaron Rodgers and company. Because again, one of the biggest things, the Bears' keys for victory is always running the football, playing good defense. That's how we've pretty much won the last few games that we've won. And this weekend is not going to be any different. Yes, I'm excited that Justin Fields gets his 4th start, as it were. He's 2-1 currently as a starter, which, technically out of all rookies, he's got the best record at 2-1. So that's just a fun stat to throw out there. But again, this is a serious test for him. The thing is, I believe our defense is better than Green Bay's. Green Bay has trouble stopping the run. And I'm hoping, and again, see, this is one of those things, though. You're down to now probably your 3rd string back in Khalil Herbert, which Herbert showed flashes last week that he could run. But we were without Damian Williams. He's on the COVID-19 list. So it looks like Herbert is going to get a big share of those snaps on offense. So this is, if there was ever a game where I think Justin Fields really needs to step up, whether it's with his feet, with his arm, whatever, this is going to be it. It's a test for him. This is a rivalry game. I mean, a serious rivalry game. Bears-Packers is always one of those intense things. And even though the Packers have been whipping our butt for the last 9-10 years, man, it's like these games are always important. And especially now, being that we're 3-2, it's a division game. This could put us in first place in our division. Again, I think it comes down to defense. The defense has been playing well lately. And if we can pressure Rodgers, we can get to him. He doesn't have time to throw those long bombs to Devontae Adams, that sort of thing. Bears can win this game. And I predict that we will win this game because I feel like our defense has amped itself back up.
Be confident. Don't say predict. Be confident.
No, I'm just saying. I believe the Bears will win. I said that on our show or on the round table. I'll say it here. I do think the Bears will pull this out. I don't think it'll be by a large margin. I think it'll be a close game because, again, you still have Aaron Rodgers staring across from you. But if the Bears could find a way to get a couple of takeaways, either on fumbles, interceptions, whatever, I think we're good to go. And I think the defense has been playing much better. They're a little bit more focused. They've gone after the ball. And I believe Justin Fields will have a decent game. He continues to progress. And I think, he will will us to victory this week. So I'm going to go 24-20 Bears over the Packers.
Guaranteed.
And I guarantee that. So there you go.
All righty. I like to hear it. So we're going to move into week 6. NFL this week, the NFL's week 6. We're going to predict each team. This is I'm going to call it, we're going to guarantee.
Guarantee time. Okay.
So we got on the, oh my gosh, the first game we have on Sunday. Well, right now, the Buccaneers are playing the Eagles.
It's 28-22 right now in the fourth quarter. The Eagles have crept back up in this game somehow.
They're down 6.
I haven't been paying close attention, but I got it on back here. It's 28-22. And Tampa Bay is about to get the ball back with 5:54 left in the fourth quarter. So,
wow.
There we go.
Okay. So I said that if Tampa Bay could hold on, I said the Buccaneers will win that game. The first game Sunday, we have the Miami Dolphins versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe actually they're in New England.
No, this is the London game.
They're in London. Excuse me.
This is the London. They're in England, right? This is the London game, my friend. 8:30 in the morning on a Sunday.
The Bears are going to tell Aaron Rodgers, "Don't go chasing wildfire."
Oh, Sean, you're killing me, Small.
That's a good one.
You're killing me. That's
a good one.
That's pretty good, though. I like that. Are you still in your car, bro? Go in the house.
Oh,
you still in the car, bro? Come on, go inside.
The Dolphins lost last week. I guarantee that the Buccaneers would beat the Dolphins. Jacksonville, they stink. They're 0-5. So I'm going to say the Miami Dolphins are going to win. I'm looking on the lines of 28-14.
Okay, well, here you go, Big Nate, because I disagree with you. I am going out on a limb this week. It's part of my picks. The Jaguars are getting 3 points in London. Miami, I don't think, has ever won in London when they played this game. And so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the first time this year the Jacksonville Jaguars will get a victory over the Tua Tagovailoa-less Miami Dolphins. Jacoby Brissett, something will happen. I don't know what, but he'll just implode. And somehow Trevor Lawrence will manage to throw some sort of last, minute or so touchdown pass to somebody to give him the victory. I don't look for a big scoring game. I'm going 20-14 Jacksonville. But I'm taking Jacksonville this week to get their first victory, despite all the Urban Meyer stuff. Trevor Lawrence has been doing his best to go out there and sling the ball and do what they brought him here to do. And at some point, it's going to crack for him. And I just have a feeling that it's this week against the Dolphins. So you heard it here. I'm taking Jacksonville. I'll go 20-14 on Sunday.
So I got the Dolphins. He's got Jacksonville. We both guaranteed our teams. Still in the car, getting ready for the couch.
There you go. Uh-huh.
So that's the first game. So it's guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
We already guaranteed the Washington football team versus the Chiefs. The Los Angeles Rams versus the New York Giants.
Yeah, I got to take the Rams here. As much as the Giants are just beat up. You don't know if Daniel Jones is going to play.
Galladay's going to play.
They lost Barkley again for a small period of time. Kenny Galladay is still out. Kadarius Toney had a question mark by his name. This poor Giants team is just in shambles on offense. And I don't think with the offense that the Rams have that the defense on the Giants is not bad, but I don't know that it'll hold up to the Rams when their team probably isn't going to score much.
I agree.
I'm looking for a Rams kind of a big victory here, maybe 10 to 14 points. Ram victory. So we'll say I'll go 31-17.
I agree with you on that.
We'll go Rams. We'll go Rams by 14 points at 31-17.
I'm with you. Same score. Los Angeles Rams. I guarantee.
Yeah, so poor Giants. Just the bad luck continues for them. It really does.
I agree.
It keeps going.
The Indianapolis Colts faced the Houston Texans. The Indianapolis Colts came in the Baltimore, Nick, and they played
three
football.
quarters. They had them for 3 quarters. They had them. You have to close out games. This is why, Nate. These are when things happen. Now, I realize this, and you're going to look at me crazy probably in about 30 seconds when I say this to you. I don't even know if I should say it because you're going to look at me nuts. I'm going to pick Houston in this game. I'm going to take the rookie, Davis Mills, to come out. And because, again, here's a kid who was pushed into action, and he's doing the best that he can. He's going out there trying to sling the ball to whoever he's got. He doesn't have much.
No, he doesn't have much.
But, it's almost as bad as Lamar sometimes when you look at what he's doing. But, he's got, Brandon Cooks, Scott Ingram. He's got a couple of guys he can get the ball out to. I don't, again, it's just one of those things. This is, it's a long season. Things happen. You just get, again, it's a feeling for me, but I'm going to actually, the Colts are so up and down. It's really amazing. I thought they would be so much better this year, so much more stable, so much more, and they're not. And that, it shows in their record. It shows in them letting Baltimore come back like that on them after having a double-digit lead. I'm going to go ahead and pick, maybe not by much, maybe a couple of points. Right. If anything, like a last-second field goal or something. But I'll go ahead and I'm going to take Houston over Indianapolis, like a, 23-21, 23-22 type situation right in there. I'll go that.
Okay. I agree. The Indianapolis Colts didn't close in 3. You got to close out games. Defensively, they got worn out. I think if you wear Indianapolis out by passing and even mixing up with run, I think you can win the game. It's just with me, I'm looking at Indianapolis. I think Carson Wentz. I think they played a great game, and I'm pretty sure Frank Wright and the coaching staff fixed some things. So, hey, Lucinda, how are you? Good to see you. So, I want to say the Indianapolis Colts are going to win this game.
Okay.
Guaranteed. So it's guaranteed for both teams. He has the Texans. I got the Colts.
There you go.
The Cincinnati Bengals play the 0-5 Detroit Lions. Oh my gosh. I feel, I can't say anything bad about the Lions because those boys compete. And, it just game-winning field goal by Greg Joseph. I respect the fact that Dan Campbell was passionate in the post interview. They don't give up. They had the game in quotations game-winning drive, and then that happened. So they just seem to be on the wrong end of the stick. So the Cincinnati Bengals, they played a great game against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. If you take away the missing field goals, and Joe Burrow has a throat contusion. So
he does have a throat, but he appears to be fine, and I don't think it's going to keep him out of action this week. So I think he'll continue to do what Joe Burrow has been doing, and he's been steadily keeping his team in it. And they're in every game. Let's just be honest. Even the ones they've lost, they've been in, and they should have won this past Sunday. That the field goal kickers, whatever the hell was going on there in that stadium that day. I don't know if people just somebody had somewhere. I don't know. It just 6 missed kicks and an extra point. Like, that's ridiculous. That's just, come on, man. Like, you're in the NFL, you got to kick the ball. But again, eventually it just was too much. You gave Crosby too many chances and he beat you. So fine. But I think, obviously coming off that, and the fact of, even though they're playing, the Lions, you say, well, the Lions maybe at some point will get a victory. I don't think it's this week. I think Cincinnati comes out hungry, knowing that they let one get away last week that was easily theirs. So yeah, I picked. I'm going to pick Cincinnati. I mean, I don't. The Lions could put up some points. Who knows? Cincinnati's defense can be suspect at times, but I'll say Cincinnati by 10. So let's just go like 24-14.
I'm with you on that. That's my score.
24-14. We'll go that way. I'll take Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Guaranteed.
The Green Bay Packers, we already guaranteed that. The Ravens, we already guaranteed that. The Bears as well, same thing. Panthers versus the Vikings. Vikings are coming off a win. I mean, the Vikings coming off a win against the Detroit Lions.
Right. Detroit
Panthers are kind of coming off a heartbreaking
loss. Which Vikings team is going to show up? Which Kirk Cousins is going to show up? These are all questions that, you just never know. And that's the thing with the Vikings. They're so up and down so far in these first 5 games here. At times they look great. Where you go, damn, that's a good Vikings team. And then you go, no, it's a bad Vikings team. You know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, again, just one of those things where I shake my head and go, this is one of those games where I pretty much, I don't even know who to pick. I honestly don't. I have a feeling like this game is just going to be one of those, hell, it could even end in a damn tie for all I know. Because I just think that either team, I'll tell you what, I'll take the Panthers merely on the fact that their defense is probably playing a little bit better, and Sam Darnold might have a decent game against that Minnesota defense. So I'll go with the Panthers in a close one. What the hell, 24-21.
I agree. I'm going with the Carolina Panthers.
Guaranteed.
The 5-0 Cardinals go up against the Cleveland Browns. It seems like the Cleveland Browns, from what I read earlier today, they're going to pretty much move on from Odell.
Really? Okay.
I mean, at this point, the chemistry between him and Baker Mayfield it just hasn't developed.
Right.
And he's missed a lot of games with Cleveland.
That's true. That is true.
That's kind of disappointing because he kind of was. I would kind of see he was the missing piece to the puzzle, but I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to go on the lines of 27-21.
Okay. Arizona Cardinals. Well, yeah, again, I think Arizona will win the game. And that's the thing. This should be one of those games where you're thinking Cleveland should take this game. Because if you had told me at the beginning of the year and looked at this Week 6 matchup, I probably would have picked Cleveland to win this game. But after 5 games this season and having seen what I've seen, and, again, is this the first week that the Cardinals take a loss? I believe they will lose at some point. Is it the Browns that actually put together a complete game maybe this week and do that? That's very possible. But I think I took Arizona in this game because I think Cleveland – I have to look again. I think Cleveland was actually favored, if I'm not mistaken. So I know I took Arizona with the points. I think it was 3 or so. But, yeah, I'm going to take Arizona still. Probably by like 3-4 points. It'll be a close game, I would think. But I'll go 30-27.
I like it, ladies and gentlemen.
Guaranteed.
The Oakland Raiders versus the Denver Broncos. Ooh, this is actually an interesting good game. Both teams come in.
The game of attrition, because these two teams come in on such a low after starting both 3-0. They're both 3-0, then they lost their last 2.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. And it's an AFC West game where the Chargers, are kind of starting to separate themselves in this division. So again, an important week for both of these teams to kind of stay in the race.
And it's kind of also to kind of see how the Raiders look
And
in the
how
aftermath, with John Gruden.
True,
and then
John Gruden.
and then vice versa, Denver, with Drew Lock as their starting quarterback.
As a starting quarterback. Well, is that the official word? We got Drew Lock this week?
It looks like it.
It looks like it. Okay. So, yeah. So, again, can Drew step up and be the man that Denver needs? Or does the Raiders rebound from that loss to – who was that they lost to last week? Oh, yeah, that's right. My Chicago Bears. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. No, but, yeah, I think you – this is one of those games, too, where it's like pick 'em. Either way, like, it doesn't matter, like, to me who wins. It doesn't really – like, I could go either way for sure. But I guess I'll give the edge to Derek Carr and the Raiders if, in fact, Drew Lock is going to start.
Right.
I would probably then give the advantage to the Raiders. So I'll go Las Vegas Raiders by 4 points.
I agree.
Maybe one of those 21-17 games.
Yeah, I agree.
24-20 in that area.
Yeah.
So I'll go there. We'll go Las Vegas. I'll take.
I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders too, y'all.
Guaranteed.
Oh my gosh. The Dallas Cowboys versus the New England Patriots. Do you want to just go ahead and guarantee this one?
It's funny. Before I do that, though, I want to say something. And I think this is more just because I find these kinds of things, I guess, like I don't know. I'm one of those guys who likes to root for the underdog, even though I know the underdog probably won't win. But I think this is one of those games where I think as much as I'm not a Patriot fan, I'm rooting for Mac Jones more than anything else to succeed. Because I feel like a lot of stuff has been put on him unnecessarily with the Brady comparisons and blah, 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 and all that other stuff that, has nothing to do with this young man's growth in the NFL and trying to become an NFL quarterback. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm rooting for Mac Jones, and I think that they're probably not going to win. Dallas is really playing well on both defense and offense. Like, I don't think anybody can dispute that. So I'm totally, Dallas will probably more than 95% win this game. But I'll be rooting for Mac Jones and the Patriots. But I'll take Cowboys probably at least 10 points. So maybe a 31-21 type deal, somewhere in that range. I mean, their offense is just really good. Dak's playing well. Zeke's playing well. Even some of the receivers and even the tight ends, they got like 2-3 tight ends. Everybody's contributing. Everybody's caught passes. Everybody's caught touchdowns. So, yeah, the offense in Dallas is really rolling. So,
yeah,
I'm gonna go Dallas 31-21 in this one.
You know what? The New England Patriots are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys. Final score 30-24.
Guaranteed.
Really? Interesting. All right, Nate. I see you there, pal. I see you.
And then we got the Seattle Seahawks versus those Pittsburgh Steelers. Seattle goes into Heinz Field, coming off kind of a tough loss against Los Angeles of Seattle, and Pittsburgh kind of getting a much win, kind of getting a big kind of getting the monkey off his back, after pretty much saying he needs to retire, he needs to be benched, and
right.
Russell Wilson's not playing because he has a finger. He injured his finger in the game against the Rams.
Yes, that's very sad for me.
So that means that Tom Brady has the longest active streak of consecutive starts. So that sucks. Russell Wilson had a 149, 165, something like that.
A streak of games, yeah, like
he started. So unfortunately, This is actually the first game in his career that he'll miss.
Yeah, absolutely. He does not start it, right?
Now
That's
that's
crazy,
now
isn't it?
Tom Brady. So
Geno Smith it is.
Congratulations! Oh my God.
Right, because the Tampa Bay just won 28-22. That game is now officially over. Eagles lose another one. Sorry, Eagles. I mean, they did make a nice comeback. Jalen Hurts seems like he played pretty well in the second half. What are you going to do? It's Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. What do you do?
Relationship with your
Oh
children.
my God.
Cue the R. Kelly. I love it. You got to go. But yeah, there you go.
yeah,
What else we got on there? We have
we got the Monday Night Football game. We got the Bills. So we didn't. I'm gonna say. Russ ain't there. I'm gonna say the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay. Who do they got again? Who did you say they were playing?
The Seahawks.
Oh, that's right. It's the Seahawks game. I guess, man, yeah, it's hard to with Russell out, man. You got to. I mean, again, you still have, Metcalf and Lockett and Chris Carson may be back this week. He's still, he's still on the. He practiced a little bit limitedly, I guess, today. So still a game time decision, I think, on Chris Carson. Otherwise, Alex Collins would probably start. So, yeah, this could be one of those games. I think a low-scoring defensive game maybe. I mean, Big Ben has shown, again, Ben Roethlisberger has shown flashes of he can still sling the ball down the field, which we know he still has a good arm. But Ben just moves slower. He doesn't have – he's not mobile. So, I mean, if they can get to him, that's going to frustrate the hell out of him.
I agree.
So I think this will be a low-scoring game, probably something like 17-14, and I guess I might, as much as I don't want to, I'll go along, not because of you, but just because I like Russell Wilson in Seattle. I'll go Pittsburgh 17-14.
Yeah, I agree.
Guaranteed.
And then we got a Monday Night Football game, the Bills versus those Titans. That actually should be a good game. Derrick Henry versus the Buffalo Bills.
Well, yeah, it's Derrick Henry. You just said it. It's Derrick Henry versus the Buffalo Bills. So to me, on paper, this looks like Buffalo, and Buffalo is not, again, this is what kills me about some of this stuff when they laid numbers. I had my sheet with me. But yeah, this was another game where I looked and I went, that's the line. Now that's the spread. It's only like 3 points. But I think Buffalo takes this game as much as, I know Tennessee has weapons, but it hasn't come together for them as they would like.
It has not.
You have a workhorse in Derrick Henry. He's always going to get his. Let's just be honest about that. But there is just, when you look at Buffalo and the way they're playing, my friend, there's just too much there.
I agree.
Defensively, offensively, I don't see how. I mean, again, any given Sunday we know, but I don't see how Tennessee would have to play pretty much a perfect game to overcome Buffalo on Sunday, or Monday night. So I'm going to go Buffalo by at least 13. I'm gonna pick that. I'm going to go whatever 30-17 or something. We'll go like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Derrick Henry, I feel so bad for Derrick Henry.
You really do.
I mean, to me, he's a future Hall of Famer. They're just running his legs off, and I would think the acquisition of Julio Jones would work.
Well, AJ Brown is there, Julio Jones.
They made
weapons.
some moves, and it's just like,
yeah. But again, just not coming together, brother. That's it. Maybe Tannehill is not what we thought he was. He's not what they. You want to crown him? Go ahead and crown him. He's what we thought they were. Maybe that's Tannehill was who we thought he was.
Maybe Mike Vrabel's not who we thought he was neither. Who knows?
There you go. Exactly.
So I'm with you on that. The Buffalo Bills, ladies and gentlemen, are going to win on Monday Night Football against Tennessee Titans.
Guaranteed.
Okay.
There you go.
So that is the segment for this week's football, week 6. That is our guarantees. Be on the lookout for next week, week 7. That should be an interesting week because a couple of teams are actually on the bye. So I'm going to switch up a couple things We're gonna, if it's okay, Nick, I'm gonna talk about Major League Baseball last because I want to get into and things around the NFL, talk about the NBA, recap the WNBA, and then talk baseball. I know we're gonna be a while with that.
Okay.
So we talked about Sean Taylor. His jersey is going to be retired. Not a fan of the timing of it. This doesn't make sense to me. Don't get me wrong. His jersey should be retired, but not right now. Not in the midst of what's going on with these emails. John Gruden. In my personal opinion, I feel like he was scapegoated. I think this is I think this speaks to a bigger issue of something around the NFL. We have 32 NFL owners that I'm pretty sure were aware of these emails. And it just seems like the stem of it is from Daniel Snyder as the owner of the Washington football team. And it's really getting to the point where when do we start holding these owners accountable? Because we all know that these guys, Roger Goodell does not run the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. It is the owners. They're the ones that are making money off the league. And you have to wonder, after seeing those emails by John Gruden, because at the time he didn't work for ESPN, he worked for ESPN, not the league.
Right.
If you're a Khalil Mack, if you are a Taylor Heineke, if you are a Daniel Jones, if you are a David Mills, DK Metcalf, you go in these locker rooms. Wow, is that how my coach feels it? Does my coach implement the same thoughts of what John Gruden said? What John Gruden said was 1,000% egregious, uncalled for, and I appreciate what the guys, Darren Wall and Derek Carr were talking about forgiveness. I am a forgiving person, but there's something that's called accountability. And what John Gruden did was the right thing. He stepped down as the coach. But at the end of the day, the first thing, and I'm still learning this, I'm not perfect. Herm Edwards once said it, just don't press send. Whatever makes you mad, whatever, grinds your gears, it's not worth it. Because at the end of the day, somebody is going to, somebody's going to be a TMZ, somebody's going to, there's a shade room. It's on social media. Once it's on social media, you can delete it, but somebody can screenshot it and it ain't going to go away.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, my thing is, and Nick, we kind of talked about this pre-show, is who leaked these emails out? Because that's the biggest question. Now, the Players Association wants those emails shown, and the league, and this is pretty much the owners are saying, no, we're not doing that, which tells me something's up. And this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it definitely is quite, to me, that was I think one of the biggest questions here is kind of why also, like, why now? Like, what was it, or what is it, the chain of events that you said, okay, now is the time for us to release these emails for one? Because again, the person whose emails they were John Gruden's. So is this someone who has an axe to grind with John Gruden, who said, this is the perfect time for me to release these or whatever, to bring these to bring these things to light, to make John Gruden look bad? And again, obviously he wrote them, so he made himself look bad. But my point is, we would have never seen those emails had nobody leaked them. We wouldn't know what John Gruden said or whatever, and we still don't really. We don't have all of the facts in there.
It was Bruce Allen, in my opinion.
Okay, maybe it was again, but that's what I'm saying. Why though? Why now? Why at this time? What was the purpose? What were you hoping to accomplish with that?
From it.
Was it just to get Gruden fired, or you know what I mean? Like, so there's too many questions here, and and again, and I'm just going to go out on a limb here, folks. I'm going to say that these are not the first time that someone in a position, and again, remember at this time, Gruden was not a coach.
No,
he was just a commentator in the Monday Night Football booth, I believe, around this time. 10 years ago. So, again, you're entitled to your opinion if that's how you truly feel. I don't know that it is. I don't know John Gruden. I don't want to speak for John Gruden. Whether he said, like you said, he goes, I made a mistake with what I said. He apologized and he did the right thing. Like you said, I believe he did as well by stepping down and relieving himself as the coach of the Raiders so that this doesn't hang over their heads for the rest of the year. I mean, it still will. It'll be there. But the fact is he removed himself from the situation, which was, I believe, the right thing to do given the circumstance. And I'm sure more will come out about this as time goes on. And again, I talked a little bit about this on the roundtable the other day. And I apologize because I brought up the fact that as a young man, when I was much younger, and again, I know John Gruden was an adult when he said these things, so it may be a little different, but whatever. My point was that, I believe in life, we've all done things and we've all said things that, and again, you brought up an interesting point too, Nate, about, don't press send, like don't do stuff in anger. That's the other thing too. Sometimes your feelings come out when you're angry.
Yeah.
And that's when you're most vulnerable because you will write anything or you will say anything out of anger that you're feeling. And if it's targeted at a particular person, what's the one thing you'll do is you'll go for what hurts that person the most. Or you go for what would make that person, you know what I'm saying? Feel bad about themselves. Or that's what people do when they're angry. When you see people fighting or arguing, what do they usually do? Then they start throwing jabs at each other about personal stuff because they know that hurts the other person.
Right.
And that's part of it too. So again, all these things that have been said, yeah, maybe there are true feelings of John Gruden. Maybe he doesn't feel that way at all. And as you said, responded in anger. I don't know, and that's a subject for another time. But I just think it's one of those things where the timing is very suspect. Again, and then tying into what you were saying about retiring Sean Taylor's jersey at this particular moment, that seems a little suspect in terms of maybe again, Daniel Snyder lately in the last year, he's really been playing the PR game well.
He's been playing it well because again, it's an image. He's trying to clean the toilet.
Exactly. I mean, like with hiring the minorities into again, he hired a female to be a high-ranking exec on his team. You know what I mean? You just go, man, bro, you're really trying hard to get that PR machine going, aren't you?
Because he wants his image to be look what I'm doing. I'm doing this. But see, when you do that, we listen. Sean even said it on the show. When you have a dance team and you have your wife practically come out in an interview saying, well, we do take that seriously, but, at some point they have to let it go what happened in the office.
Bullshit.
Because there was a lot of sexual assault in the workplace with
like
Washington football team.
Photos and stuff or something I heard. Like there was some...
Yeah, something like that. And it's just this is what's going on in the front office, and you have your wife, who is the CEO, come out and pretty much saying they need to just get pretty much saying get over it. We're sorry that it happened, but it's their word against our word, and that kind of stuff, and that's just not cool. I think it's best if he sells the team because it's the team's not going to go anywhere with him as owner. It's just not guaranteed. And I just think that this weekend retiring Sean Taylor's number, it's not BS, but I think that, like you said, the timing of it, I think it's
bullshit.
And then on top of that, why are you doing this now? You could have done this last season. You could have done this years ago after he got killed.
I mean, he died in 2007.
Yes.
So I had to look that up to make sure I had the year right. But yeah, like
ago.
This guy's been dead for 14 years. And now after that, hey, we're going to retire Sean Taylor's number this weekend.
That doesn't,
just like you said, the poor man's been dead 14 years. And he obviously, you could have done this at any point leading up to this year, and you haven't. And now, like you said, all of a sudden, it's time to retire Sean Taylor's number.
I agree.
That definitely looks so suspect.
It's very suspect. And at the end of the day, it just, again, this is the same thing, ladies and gentlemen, I was talking about with the Atlanta Dream. and I'll continue to say it again. Just just be accountable for your actions, plain and simple, and understand that your actions may have consequences. I think when you take responsibility for your actions, then that's where you see yourself growing as an adult, plain and simple. And I do hope that John Gruden learns from this. He will never get another job in the NFL.
Probably not.
That's for sure.
I would think
but
not.
it's not. It's just
Unless it's with Jerry Jones in Dallas. No.
We'll see. Who knows? Brett Favre has to return over over $800,000 in welfare funds to Mississippi or face a civil lawsuit.
Really? When did this happen? What was Brett doing?
I'm not sure. So it's pretty much saying the funds were supposed to go to. He accepted $1.1 million in funds from two nonprofit organizations for speaking engagements that he never attended.
But they paid him.
Yes, he's not. He doesn't face any criminal charges for his. But if he doesn't repay the money within 30 days, he will serve a civil suit. So
be careful with a civil suit. Okay.
Interesting.
Brett, come on, man. You didn't make the appearances. Pay the money back.
I agree.
I gotta imagine you have the money. So
yeah,
go ahead, man. Just pay it back.
Hey, just do the right thing. Do the right thing, Brett.
Right. Do the right. As Spike Lee once said, do the right thing.
Christian McCaffrey probably won't play this week.
Probably will or won't.
It's in doubt.
I was gonna. Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I was like, yeah.
He just can't stay healthy.
He didn't practice today, and so depending on what he does tomorrow on Friday, because he didn't practice today. That hamstring, I think they're going to give it another week possibly. He may not play this week.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he's another one who just cannot stay healthy.
He can't stay healthy, right? I mean,
Saquon
when he's in there, he's phenomenal. When he's in there, he's great. But last week, what he missed 7 weeks, something like that.
Yeah,
gotta stay healthy, my friend.
Yeah, I agree. Madden 22 is going to remove John Gruden after the whole fiasco with the emails.
Saw that. Yeah.
So I know Madden did that with Ray Rice after the domestic violence.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
And rightfully so, both. So that's good. Madden's doing that. What else is happening around the NFL? That's pretty much it that's going around the NFL. Really quick, I want to transition into the NBA. So Ben Simmons finally came into camp. Was it Tuesday?
I saw that, even though he didn't say he said he did. He specifically say he wouldn't, or he was just holding out and like?
Well, I think what was he it was reported that he wanted out.
Right. I remember that. Yes, exactly.
He sold his house in Philadelphia and wants to be traded to LA.
Okay.
He still hasn't cleared COVID testing protocols yet. Tomorrow, as of today, he'll be cleared.
Okay.
So it looks like he's not going to play in the last preseason game.
Okay.
So, don't know where that's really going to happen with him, but I think it was good for Joel Embiid to say, "Look, we need him. He's an important piece. Let's not make it awkward." But it's Ben Simmons. Hey, got to get it together. Kyrie Irving, man, this is again a hot topic that's been talked about with Kyrie.
Yeah. Well, again, with the COVID and not wanting to get the vaccinations, right?
Well, he hasn't made it clear if he's going to get it or not. He's just sticking by his principles.
Right.
He's saying it's what feels good to him. He didn't when he went on Instagram Live last night. And he didn't really talk. He didn't take a shot at anybody with the Brooklyn Nets. He didn't take a shot at Kevin Durant. Basically, he was just going at the media. because the Brooklyn Nets came out and said that he's not going to start. He's not going to be in any practice. He's not going to be with any games or practices until he complies with New York City's mandate to get vaccinated.
Okay.
He's made it vehemently clear that it's bigger than basketball. He understands the risks that he's taking. Kyrie Irving, I think his contract is like $270 million. You have to forgive me, Nick, as my computer screen is frozen.
Oh,
I don't know why it's doing that. Hopefully, there it goes. Now we're back.
Okay.
So I don't really know what to really look at it like this. He's going to lose at this point. If he misses every game in Brooklyn, including the preseason and including the 2 games against the Knicks, he could lose over $17 million. Now, he can sign a 4-year deal for $187 million. I just want to point some things out that he said in the Instagram video that I think that stuck out for me. You got to make these convictions yourself. You're going to lose out on money. You're going to lose out on this. So what? It's not about the money, baby. It's about choosing what's best for you. You really think I want to lose money? You really think I want to give up my dream to go after a championship? You think I really just want to give up my job? Think I really just want to sit at home and not go after the things my teammates that I have able to grow with, to learn with, and to learn to sacrifice in this space? You think I want to give up my livelihood because of a mandate, because I don't have accommodations, because I'm unvaccinated? Come on. He says he's still uncertain about a lot of things, and that's okay. This is my life. I get to do whatever I want with this life. This is one body that I get here. And you telling me what to do with my body, this has everything to do with what's going on in our world. I'm being grouped into something that's bigger than just a game of basketball. I stay grounded in what I believe. It's simple as that. It's not about being anti-vax or being on one side or the other. It's just being true to what feels good for me. If I'm going to be demonized for more questions or taking my time to make a decision with my life, then that's just what it is. I know the consequences of my decision that I make with my life. I'm not here to sugarcoat any of that. He also said no one's hijacking this voice. See if they play this on their TV channels, and if they play the actual truth somewhere before you start talking about me and what I'm doing with my life. And no, I'm not retiring, and no, I'm not going to leave this game like this. There's still more work to be done.
Right.
When I listened to that it was just like 27 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I have to respect him because he's sticking by his principles. He understands the consequences. It's his choice, and we have to respect it. And this is just me. Ever since Kobe died, I just see a different side of Kyrie. Let me just point out some of the things that he's done that I think need to be mentioned. He's given over $1.5 million to the WNBA.
Okay.
He brought George Floyd's mom a house. Paid tuition for 9 HBCU students. He's brought 200 plus kids Christmas presents. Provided over $250,000 in Thanksgiving meals in New York City. He's just he sees life different, and we have to cherish it because life is precious, and we can all be gone.
Oh, for
like
sure.
That.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And he's right. We shouldn't have to be forced into something that we don't want to do. I said it. I can't remember what episode it was. I know that it was this season with COVID. It's become very political. You're either on, and again, it's this is very murky territory.
Yeah.
That we're walking into. But he's doing what's best for him and his family. And, does it suck that he possibly won't play this season and could potentially hurt Brooklyn winning a championship?
Yeah.
Sure. But you have to respect he's standing by his principles.
That he is.
Muhammad Ali did it when he didn't want to do his tour duty with the Vietnam War.
Right.
It's just Colin Kaepernick when he took a knee, even though I just wish the message would have been clearer with Colin. Like, what do you do? Like, this is what I'm doing it for.
Right.
And I think the message got watered where everyone said, took it differently. And now you look at Kyrie. And also, too, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I became I'm a mass communications and journalism and media major, because the media controls and spins the narrative. They're always going to put things out there in the general public to say these things. They're trying to make Kyrie Irving the bad guy, but can you really say he's a bad guy for a personal choice that he made?
Right.
No. But you got guys like Stephen A. and others, and again, Stephen A. I'm using him as an example because I respect the passion, but sometimes his heart can be in the wrong place.
Right.
That's just my personal opinion, Stephen A.
Right.
And others, but also too, I'm pretty sure Kyrie is aware of what's been happening around. Karl Anthony Towns is a great example. I mean, he lost his mother to COVID. He had COVID himself. I mean, this is some scary stuff. It really is. And, we just have to, to me, I thought this would be a very great time for us as a society, to come together and be in a place where we're all together. But it kind of seems like we're more worried about individualism than community, to some, in my opinion. But I really do hope that they work something out with Kyrie. If they got to trade him, they got to trade him. But the Brooklyn Nets, I think they'll be fine without him. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. We're going to transition into the WNBA. Game 2. Phoenix Mercury beat Chicago in overtime. It was a really good game. For Chicago, came in. I said Phoenix was going to win game 2. I guaranteed that, so that I got that right. I told you the biggest key was their big three. What happened to baseball? We're going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about it in a minute, Sean. I decided to I didn't forget about it. Actually, I said the key was the big three. They had to come out and they had to go off. Skylar Diggins had a double-double. What else? I looked at the box score. Brittany Griner played really well. She had a dunk in the first quarter. Phoenix going into the second quarter, there was 20-14 after, they were down 26-20. Chicago came out and they shot 60%. And by halftime, they were shooting 48%. Sophie Cunningham came back. She looked pretty good after missing the game with an injury. The biggest key was just the big three had to go off. Like I said, for Chicago, just late turnovers and just missing easy shots. That was the key. They definitely didn't look poised. I will say that from game 1. They looked kind of I guess they kind of came in cocky, kind of with their heads high. And,
well, I mean, in some way maybe, but that's good for them too. They need to come in with that kind of confidence. And again,
right,
things happen. They took it to overtime, and then game 3 is up next. What is that? Saturday?
Friday. No, Friday.
Okay, tomorrow. Okay.
Friday.
There we go.
So, also too, they struggled to get to the basket. Chicago, they missed free throws. They went to the line 4 times compared to Phoenix 11. That's going to be the key. Chicago getting to the free throw line. And Allie Quigley has to get going from 3-point line. That was another thing that I took away from that game. She could not get her shot going off. She had 19 points, but was 3 of 12 from 3.
Okay.
So that was kind of a interesting statistic. But as far as Phoenix, they looked better. Even though Chicago outscored Phoenix rebounding 50-40, it didn't feel like that.
Okay.
It didn't feel like that to me. Diana Taurasi had 20 points and Brittany Griner had 29, but I feel like offensively, Chicago, again, they just couldn't get it going. And really quick, I just think the key for Game 3, I think the Kyrie situation is a little different from Ali and Kat. I can see why you would say that, Sean. I can see why you would say that. So that was key. I mean, overtime was really good. Just again, Chicago late turnovers and not hitting shots was the key. So, Game 3 should be interesting tomorrow. I'm going to say because Chicago, they're back home for Games 3 and 4. So, yeah, they got to get to the free throw line. They got to cut down the turnovers. They got to start early. You can't start hot early and then cool off like that,
Right?
Because that hurts. So I think the Chicago Sky are going to win Game 3.
Guaranteed.
Let's hope so, my friend. I would love a Chicago championship again. That would be great.
Yes. Really quick, I didn't talk about this in the last episode, but Diana Taurasi was labeled the GOAT of the WNBA. I have no issue with that. I think Diana Taurasi is one of the best women basketball players in the game. But to say the greatest women's basketball player of all time, I think that I don't like that because I think that does a disservice to the other women that played this game.
Like
Like,
Cheryl Miller,
Cheryl
Cheryl
Miller,
Swoops, Lisa
Tina
Leslie.
Thompson. Like, I just don't really feel like I don't do that greatest of all time thing because I think you kind of discredit what the others have done. I think it should be by decade, and each decade should have their own top 5 and play by. And I think that's how they should do it. Yeah. Because if you're saying, "Well, I'm in the top 25," but she's the greatest basketball player all time in this league, and everybody that's on the top 25 had an argument. So, I mean, well deserved for Diana Taurasi. I'm not taking anything away from her. I just think that we need to really. I just don't like that GOAT talk. I mean, we could say greatest of each generation, but of all time, where each decade you've seen how the game's evolutionized and how it's changed. Yeah. That's just me. So we're going to transition into baseball really quick. Some news. The Yankees parted ways with 3 coaches, and one of them was not Aaron Boone.
One of them was not Aaron Boone. So there you
go. Marcus Thames, the hitting coach, assistant coach PJ Piltier, and Phil Nevin. Their contracts will not be renewed.
There you go.
We'll see. And Phil, oh my gosh, I'm losing his name. Ray Fozzie. Why did I say Phil? Ray Fozzie died at the age of 74 after a 16-year battle of cancer. If you don't remember what he was, Ray Fozzie was, he is infamously known as the guy that was ran over by Pete Rose in the All-Star game.
Right.
2-time champion with the Oakland Athletics. Yes. Some people actually said that actually messed his career up too.
Some say he was just not the same after that.
So that was interesting. So rest in peace. My thoughts and prayers to his family. The St. Louis Cardinals manager, Mike, help me pronounce the name, Nick.
Hilt. What is it? Schilt, I believe is how it's said.
Coach Schilt, his contract was not renewed. He was
done in St. Louis, yes.
Done in St. Louis due to philosophical
differences, exactly. We didn't think you coached very well, so we're going to fire you. But we'll tell everybody it was philosophical differences.
You know,
Basically
even though
what
he
happened, I
coached,
guess.
he coached the last 3 years for the Cardinals. I can't take away the last this season where they won 17 straight games.
I mean, that's amazing, right? Like, how do you? Yeah.
I mean, how do you do it? I don't know. But I think a lot of it also too. I think it's pressure. This team on paper, I think is probably one of the best. It's a competitive team in the league.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like they were expected to be, and so when they were struggling
Right.
for so long, like basically with just about 2 months to go, they were pretty much out of the race.
Right.
And
I
then
mean, they come back.
they caught fire and they win 17 and whatever, like all of a sudden they're playing in the playoffs. You're like, whoa, where'd the Cardinals come from?
I have no idea where
they
they
didn't
came
catch Milwaukee, but they're right there.
Yeah. So he managed the St. Louis Cardinals from 2018 to this year. He won 252 games, lost 199.
Yeah.
He's lost in the National Championship Series against Washington, the wild card against the Padres, and the Dodgers last year, unfortunately, to the Dodgers as well. So don't know where the Cardinals will go, but I mean, it's all but up. It's all but up. So we're going to get into the championship preview. We're now down to three teams.
We still have 5 teams because the team has not. The fourth team has not officially declared itself. We are currently in the 8th inning. I think we're going into the bottom of the 8th or top of the 9th. It's 1-1 Dodgers and Giants.
Please, I'm really hoping we do not have another St. Louis card like the Cardinals with Dodgers in the wild card. Please. That looks like a pitching duel, honestly.
Yeah, 1-1 going into the 9th, I believe, is the game. So yeah, they're badly. These are 2 teams. One 106, one 105. So they've been battling all year. They're in the same division. This is just another one of the epic battles between the Giants and the Dodgers. And whatever team comes up on top, they get the Atlanta Braves of all teams. Atlanta pulled out the series against the Brewers, which I was kind of shocked. I had the Brewers winning that series. So now Atlanta comes in with an opportunity. And I mean, when was the last time Atlanta was in the World Series?
Oh, wow. It's been a minute.
So, I mean, the last time was probably the one they won in the 90s, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, Atlanta 4 games away now from a potential. And again, we're waiting to see who they play. Obviously either team presents matchup nightmares for Atlanta because I don't know how good the pitching is going to hold up. I mean, they pitched well in the series against Milwaukee,
right?
But these are 2 offensive teams you got here in the Giants
and the Dodgers.
So I mean, it's going to be a tough. Whoever the Mets draw or whoever the Braves draw, it's going to be a tough go. But again, they're hit their stride at the right time. They're playing well without their best player, right? Acuna hasn't played, so. You're definitely, scrappy and really, doing everything you can to win. So I mean, we'll see. Again, we're waiting for the end of that Giants-Dodgers game to see who they'll play. So it's hard to give an accurate preview. But again, either team could present a matchup problem for the Braves. But you never know. Again, this is baseball, baby. So
you never know. So. Anything can happen. I mean, we seen the Miami Marlins, a wild card team, twice.
Yeah, exactly.
The World Series. So anything can happen.
Yeah, so we're in the top of the 9th now, 1-1. Dodgers are currently batting. So
we'll see what happens there for sure. So let's break down the championship preview. We got the American League. We got the Boston Red Sox versus the Houston Astros.
I'm not going to even sit here and act like I didn't know this was coming. Or act like I know this was coming because I did it.
Yeah, the Red Sox are riding a hot streak, my friend. Like,
yes,
coming into this thing, having to play the 1-game playoff against the Yankees, beating them, then taking out the defending American League champion Tampa Bay Rays. And they just played well. They deserved to win. They won. Now here's the thing, though. They got the Astros in the next round, of course, championship series. But given that I just found out today, Nate, that Lance McCullers will not be available for the Astros, that's a big blow.
It is.
That is a huge, like, he was their ace. He pitched games 1 and 4 against my White Sox and pretty much just gave up 2 runs in both of those games to us. But McCullers we couldn't hit, and that's a shame that he won't be available for this series because I'm telling you, the guy was throwing well. So now you got to figure, they got Garcia, Yemini. I forgot the guy's first name.
Jose Ucritti.
You got Garcia, and then, maybe you pull Greinke out of the bullpen, and now he starts because you had Zach Greinke coming out of the bullpen.
You got Jake Odorizzi.
Yeah, Odorizzi. But I'm saying, like, it's not, McCullers was the guy, and he pitched 2 games in that White Sox series to get them victories. So it'll be interesting to see now how they set up their rotation against this Boston offense because, again, Boston's on fire right now.
Yep.
And Houston with the, kind of the diminished pitching a little bit, this could be a series where the Red Sox really jump out early. Now, again, you can never discount a lineup, honestly, that Houston has when you go from Altuve to Brantley to Bregman,
Correa,
to Correa, to Gurriel. It's just on and on, 1 through 9. You're like, good Lord, do I get a break here?
And you know what's funny? Here's the thing. They've shut up their critics after the whole sign stealing scandal.
Yes, and again,
I know what's Ryan Tepera.
Tepera decided he wanted to chime in on that, which I would have preferred he said nothing, but whatever. He just said what he said, and then we go out and lose 10-1. So way to go, Ryan. That really helped. So just be quiet, man. Just pitch. Nobody asked you about that. I know it was part of a longer thing, and they just took that particular thing out of the context, which I get. But if you listen to what he said, he was talking a lot more about stuff, and it's fine. But he said what he said, and it didn't help any, believe me. And I'm sure Houston went, okay, we'll show you who's cheating. Take this.
I agree.
And sure enough, that was it. So, yeah. Next time, there's no need to say anything to Tepera. Just keep quiet there and pitch. And he did pitch well in the series for the couple appearances he was in there. But again, Houston was too much. And again, that's why I say, even though their pitching is going to have to really scrap together, they got Maton in the bullpen. They have a Garcia in the bullpen. It's they got a couple of guys that hopefully will rebound. So I don't know.
Are you talking about the Atlanta Braves, Sean?
That's got to be the Atlanta Braves. The last time they won one. So that it just. I look for a good series because again, it's Houston, and they've been in the championship series the last 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
Literally. So I mean, they're there to compete. They always do. But I think they're running into a buzzsaw. That is the Boston Red Sox right now, and it's really.
And also too, you got to give Boston credit. Alex Cora, who
was a coach on that suspect 2017 team, right? Like, so you're gonna have a little bit of that going on there. The gamesmanship begin.
So,
but I mean, with Sale going and Eovaldi, that 1-2 for Boston is great. Eovaldi,
but they're hitting. Verdugo can. Verdugo.
Everybody.
Renfroe.
Martinez, even though he's hurt, can hit. Hunter Renfroe. Verdugo, Martinez,
Devers,
Xander Bogaerts. They have a good lineup. They really do. That's why I say, and the Red Sox are peaking at the right time, I think.
Yeah,
again, I think this is the time where if Houston's pitching, which is now is going to take is taking a hit with McCullers being out, I got to say, man, I definitely favor Boston in this. I say Boston in 6. I favor them in this series.
Now, real quick before we get into that, what do you think? Tampa Bay, because they won 100 games.
Yes, they did.
To pretty much lose.
Well, again, they ran into the buzzsaw, my friend. And again, one was one of those crazy plays where Tampa Bay should have won that game, but the ball bounces, hits the player in the chest, right? And goes over the wall. And they call it a ground rule double. Which I don't know if it hits the player. That's a live ball, no?
That is. That should be, in my opinion.
So that runner should have been allowed to score, which would have gave Tampa Bay the victory, and we possibly having a different discussion. But we're not, and those things in baseball do happen.
Right.
It always seems to happen at the worst time, like in playoff games or in World Series, where some out of the ordinary play comes up and you go, well, let's check the rule on that. And then you got a whole big discussion and what should happen. And then one team is going to get butthurt because the call went against them. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's definitely, yeah. But that's why I love baseball too. It's very unpredictable. And it just, yeah. So but again, I just think that Boston right now, like I said, the 1-2, Evaldi had beat the Yankees in the play-in game. Sale is always, now that he's back and he's healthier, Chris Sale always pitches well. So I think, the Red Sox had a chance to set all that up, with winning, finishing early and waiting for, like I said, I like the Red Sox. I say Red Sox in 6.
Yeah, I'm with. I can't. I'm looking at both teams. You got Dusty Baker, who took the challenge and knew he was going to be criticized for that decision to be hired.
For sure. What's the matter, Nate? Flustered on this one? Not sure where to go?
I'm gonna have to say Boston. I'm gonna say Boston in 6.
There you go. All right.
Guaranteed.
Thank you, Charles.
So the question: talk about the Chicago White Sox. Like, what went wrong against the Houston Astros in this series?
Well, what didn't go wrong is the better question. But the first was pitching. You can criticize La Russa for starting Lance Lynn, who didn't have any success against Houston.
Someone's bitter.
Shut up, Sean. Are you still in the car? Did you get in the house yet? Don't go there, bro. Do not, no. But yeah, the White Sox, they got beat. Like they just did. Pitching from the get-go didn't do well. And even with the moves Tony made, even when he brought in the relievers, he didn't give, Lance Lynn got an inning in 2/3 in that first game. And he started bringing in the bullpen. It just, he did what I don't say he was horrible with it. He had who he had. And there was at times where the bullpen for Sox pitched really well and held. But you have to score runs. And they just didn't score them at the right time. Like, again, we scored 1 run in the first game. Then we scored 4 runs in the second one, but gave up 9.
Mm-hmm.
The one game we won was 12-6. And then the fourth game, we lose 10-1. Again, with McCullers pitching game 1 and 4, and both of those games. So, the White Sox, you say back to the drawing board or whatever, but they went into the playoffs as healthy as they'd been all year. I thought the pitching would be much better and hold up much more for us. And again, our offense, a lot of the criticism of our offense, and yeah, I mean, there's some truth there. A lot of it was, hey, live by the homer, die by the homer.
I agree.
And again, and it showed itself, right? Like we scored 12 runs in the one game, and I think we had 3 homers in that game. The one run we had in game 4 was a homer by Gavin Sheets. So yeah, there's some truth there, and then I think that's something to look at for next year as you improve on and try to, you go back to drawing board. Okay, what can we do? How do we improve on this year? Because again, this is still a young team, a fairly young team. And I think we still have about 3-4 years with these guys because we did sign a lot of them through contracts. So, I mean, we still have 3 or 4 years to really get something I would like to win a title with this team because I think they have that capability with Tim Anderson, Yohan Moncada, Jose Abreu, Grandal, and Grandal actually disappointed me, our catcher. Because
really?
I know he hit the home run in the one game to make it 5-3 and kind of spark everybody. But other than that, Yasmani doesn't hit well for average. He either walks, hits a homer, or strikes out.
Really, hold on real quick. It's now 2-1 Dodgers.
Yeah, I have it on here. I was going to interrupt at some point, but it's 2-1 Dodgers. 3 straight singles, the top of the 9th here. So now they're up 2-1. They're just a pitching change is going on now. But the White Sox themselves. The pitching really didn't hold up, and the offense didn't hit in key situations and just fell flat. And so, again, you're eliminated. You went into a good Astros team who was better than we were, and that's just the bottom line. So again, we go into year 3 of this. We've made the playoffs the last 2 years with this team. So now you sit there and go, okay, what do we have to do to ensure that next year we get a little further here, guys? Or we, the team is there, the talent's there. You just got to put it together, man. And that's the bottom line.
Okay, now the question: do you think that the hiring of Tony La Russa was warranted, or do you feel like you need somebody that?
I wasn't a fan of it when it happened. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, yeah, Tony, you did a great job this year. I was not a fan of the signing. Was Tony horrible? No. I mean, you took your team won 90-some games. You made it to the playoffs. You managed to overcome some stuff early on that people criticized you for. So, no, the Sox had a good year. They didn't put it together in the playoffs, and now they're at home. But, yeah, I think I wasn't a fan of the signing. I don't know how it'll go. Does Tony, obviously I believe he's under contract for next year, So we'll see, man. I don't know what they're going to do there, if they're going to maybe consider certain things. I don't know. I really don't. And again, I just, Tony seemed like the second half of the year was better in terms of just communicating with guys and kind of maybe understanding more how the game goes now, as opposed to, when he was winning championships.
Right.
So I don't know. So I just think, we'll have to see how the offseason goes, what we can do to improve the pitching. I think we still need a second baseman. I don't think Cesar Hernandez is the answer for us. So we still need a solid everyday right fielder, preferably a left-handed bat. So we'll see. We got some holes to fill like everybody else, and we'll go from there.
Would you like to take Anthony Santander off our hands?
Who?
Anthony Santander. He plays right field.
I don't know. I would probably I would have taken Jock Peterson, given the way he had a second half.
Yes,
but he's playing in the playoffs. Go Atlanta, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's that was my thing. Like, instead of Kimbrel, we should have just got Jock Peterson. Like, what do we bring Kimbrel for? Well, that's another story for another time, my friend.
Right.
But yeah, I just, again, the White Sox got outplayed. That's the way it is. We lost. But hopefully next year we can rebound. We'll see.
Right. Like, really quick, do you feel like the teams? Because everyone was saying Rick Renteria was holding this team back emotionally. Do you feel like this team's still being held back emotionally with Tony La Russa?
I mean, I guess that's a fair question considering everything that happened. But, it's like, let's just, again, it's kind of a funny thing that you bring up Renteria, right? Because Renteria was the guy who was the Cub manager before they got Joe Madden.
Right.
Renteria's fired. In comes Grandpa Joe. And they win a title, right? Well, Renteria here. Now he's on the south side. Young team. Same thing. Building. They fire him. Oh, in comes old man La Russa. Not the same result yet, but it's an eerie parallel. If somehow Tony next year, let's say for this, the Sox win a title, and now you've had Renteria on both sides of town who gets fired for older gentlemen who come in and win titles. Like, it's just one of those weird coincidences where you go, okay, interesting. Did Rick get a bad? Maybe, I don't know. Like, there was definitely some criticism of how he handled things in the quick 3-game series against Oakland in the playoffs last year. But again, it just. So you got rid of him. You brought in Tony, and that's that. Like, I just, Renteria is a good coach. He was a good manager. He wasn't horrible. And, we'll just have to see if Ricky pops up again somewhere or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, so far it's been an interesting playoff series. I mean, the Brewers, I'm a little disappointed in them. I kind of don't really know if you're Milwaukee, where do you go?
All you can do is try.
Yes, I'm out of my car. I was running out of gas. LOL.
There you go, Sean. Way to make it back into the house, bro. Glad she didn't lock you out permanently. That's good. Way to get back in, bro. That's good.
Yeah, I don't really know where they go from here.
Right.
In my personal opinion, I feel like they're kind of in that
And
Okay,
see, but that's the thing with this, and I understand. People only one team in the end wins the whole thing, right?
right.
30 teams or 32. Baseball's 32, 30, whatever it is. 30 teams and only one winner, guys. So every year there's always disappointment, and you look at yourself and go, "Man, how can I improve my team? What did we do wrong? What do we do with this?" Like only one team wins every year out of 30. So the teams that make the playoffs are always scratching their head too, going, "What do we got to do to win the big one? Like, how do we?" So, I mean, that's always a fair question for everyone. But I just think, you have to put that into perspective that there's only one champion. So,
Right.
most teams, as good a teams as are as good as year as you had, the disappointment is there when you don't advance and you don't win.
Yeah, biggest thing I took away from it for really this season was Christian Yelich.
Yeah.
He got a 7-year deal worth $188.5 million.
Yeah.
7 years left on that left. And I know for Milwaukee, when you're a small market team like Milwaukee, ladies and gentlemen, when you're a small market like the Minnesota Twins, for example,
Right.
like the Kansas City Royals, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Cincinnati Reds, your window to compete for a championship is
usually smaller.
It's smaller, like 3 to 5 years easily.
Right.
And like they can't really afford going forward. They gotta say to themselves, okay, he's got 7 years left on this deal. Like from where he was 2018 and 2019, it's just like last year. See, I think last year it has to be an asterisk on everybody because we were in the midst of a pandemic.
Right.
So I mean, to see how he came out this year, I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Offensively, Milwaukee needs to improve their offense. Eduardo Escobar is going to be a free agent.
Yeah.
Garcia can decline. Former White Sox can decline his option.
Right.
Let me just also hear they got Omar Neves through next year, Roddy Tellitz or Kirsten Herrera. They're under control for the next few years. Colton Wong, Willie Ademus, Luis Urias, Lorenzo Kane, Jackie Bradley, Tyrone Taylor. So they got to ask themselves what this is going to look like. Josh Hader is another, one of the arguing the best players in the game.
Yeah, Josh Hader.
He's going to look for a payday, and I don't know. Then you got to think about Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff. There's so many questions with the Brewers going forward.
Mm-hmm.
The Atlanta Braves are going to be the same thing too. Freddie Freeman ain't getting any younger.
Yeah, but this could be the year they win.
Who knows? You're right. I agree.
I mean, this could be the year where you go, hey, well, we don't have to worry about that too much. We got it.
Right.
We won it, baby. I mean, they're 4 games away from going to the series. So
for sure.
And they might be playing the Dodgers, who are up 2-1 going into the bottom of the 9th.
Up 2-1.
Guess who's in to pitch the bottom of the 9th?
Yeah.
They brought in Max Scherzer to pitch the bottom of the 9th. Yeah, Scherzer's in.
Mad Max. Oh, wow.
So they're going for it, my friend. Here it is.
Going for it.
Yeah, we got Mad Max going. And they got the top of the lineup. I think it's Bryant bat second this inning for the USA. Giants have like the top of the order up and facing Max Scherzer. Here we go.
Yeah.
So right now, Dodgers are up 2-1, bottom of the 9th, kids.
So yeah, that's pretty much that's our preview for the championship, Major League Baseball championship series. We got Nick once again. We got a collab. Once we see how these last 4 teams, the final 4.
On 4, baby.
How it looks, and we're going to do the World Series preview because, ladies and gentlemen, that actually goes into the start of the NBA, depending on where
season, right?
Season.
Yeah, pretty much.
So there could be, my gosh, that's going to be a lot. But yeah, really quick, I did want to announce that this came across my news feed on Twitter. Diana Taurasi was fined $2,500
For pushing the ref.
for pushing the referee. A lot of people were calling for her to be suspended because
It's very
you put
conduct unbecoming, my friend.
if you even touch or even with the ref touch a ref, you should be suspended for that.
Right.
So
that's a lot of people's thinking, right? Because the refs are not there for you to push around.
yeah. So and again, I think some of it also too is just public. I think just she's Diana Taurasi, and we're wrong. We're explaining why it happened, but we're going to just smack her hand and just ask for some fine money.
Right.
So, really quick, and this is going to end the episode. There was a video. I'm going to hold off on that. But Bart Scott, he made some comments. He said that Hollywood Brown would not start, and then turned around and said Lamar Jackson is the best player in the NFL. I can't. Bart Scott's is really weird to me. So
okay, that's probably true.
Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude episode 19 of the podcast. This weekend, I will have 3 special guests. We're going to conclude season 3 on the NBA preview, where we're going to talk about the NBA, our outlook for the year. We're going to give our picks, who's going to make the playoffs, different things like that. So be on the lookout for that. Season 4, I will make I'm going to take tomorrow and this weekend to figure that out. I might take like a day or two to kind of get my head together.
There you go.
So yeah, that's that. Season 3, we got to season 3 already of the podcast. I cannot believe that. I'm trying to keep it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm trying to keep it where it's in with each season. I know hockey just started. That's kind of hard to keep up with World Series,
right?
WNBA finals.
Sports everywhere right now. If you're a sports fan, this is great.
It's just great. But it's a lot to keep up with. It's no joke.
Yep, for sure.
It is no joke. So, Nick, do you have any final closing words you want to say before we end the podcast?
Well, thank you again for having me as a
Absolutely.
guest on your show. I do appreciate that. Go Bears. Got the Packers this weekend. It's a big rivalry always, even if we haven't won in a long time. I think we're due for one, and I'm hoping Justin Fields will lead us to that victory.
For sure.
So, this has been fun. Again, it's always fun to talk baseball, even though my White Sox are no longer playing. That is what it is. Just let's have a great sports weekend, everyone. There's plenty to watch. So whatever your sport, it's on. Thank you very much. And you guys have a good night.
Go Packers. Oh, no.
You know what, Sean? Go back to the car.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. Topics when we talk about in the next episode or future episodes of the podcast. We're 1 subscriber away from 100. I cannot believe that.
Very nice. Look at that. Somebody subscribe. Hurry up. 100 before that show ends. Somebody subscribe.
Yes, definitely. So definitely subscribe if you're not haven't already. Leave with notification bells on. That being said, these episodes will be on Spotify. I'll have them up this weekend. Actually, I'll try to have them up tomorrow evening. Tomorrow. So with that being said, I'm out. Y'all have a good Happy Friday. For those, if it's your weekend started already, have a great extended weekend.
Right.
Stay safe. I will see y'all on Sunday.
There you go.
Shout out to Nick Rosario. Shout out to Sean Spencer for joining me tonight. Check them on Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable, and also to Nick and Anthony have a show called Popcorn, Parachutes and Popcorn.
Yeah, well, we'll have to keep you posted on future episodes of that. But yeah, we're working on an 80s movie podcast called Popcorn and Parachute Pants. So
Okay.
Enjoy that.
For sure. And then also, obviously Sean Spencer's doing his thing with, Let's Talk Fantasy Football, Let's Talk the Round Table,
Washington Football Weekly,
the
Let's Talk Football
with
original.
with Janae Struther.
Right, so he's all over the place. That's why he's
all
in
over
the car.
the place. That's why he's in the car.
No, I'm just playing out.
Oh man, but yeah, you know what? I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna play my Vic Fangio clip. I'm gonna see y'all in the next episode. Peace. There,
All right, thanks, guys.
Get down! Get down!
First of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find, but I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.